What's going on? Yes, track 3, Time and a Word. This is their second cover, Every Day. So they're just like getting them out of the way. They start with it, they do a song, and they do another cover. Okay then. All right, Every Days. Let's do it, bam. Okay. Ballad. So much verb on the strings, and it like goes all the way out to here. You hear it here? The strings are here, but you hear the verb here.
Every day's a killing time. Sun coming up outside. No men are born this time. Saturday's child stays home. Nothing to say. So long. Well, well, well. Another day. Well, well, well. Another day.
Cool. I don't know this song. Like the original? I don't know it. Yeah, they get a little trippy. Wait. Nice. Who did the arrangements of these strings?
Grocery store, $10.
This is kind of
just making change for plastic chairs.
This is jazzy, right? Like a little
looking at me.
What do they call that?
Everyone looks, you can't see.
Tony Cox, right? Cool.
Easily.
Orchestration.
Well, 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 another day.
You know, like it's a little bit.
Another day, soft within the wayward things, like ecstasy, the sound of trees, most anything, what a baby sees.
Yeah, I mean the strings are louder than Peter Banks. Peter Banks just needs to be louder. That's really all, I think. Yeah, they're really going for this like free time stuff. This guy, Bill Bruford, wow. They just brought that hi-hat way out. this is, there's never going to be a world where I call this jazz, right? It's like jazzy, right? There's elements of jazz. It's not using the same language. They may be using parts, but like the walking bass, that's not like jazz walking bass. It's like rock walking bass. It's not the same language, right? It's not, it's like alluding to it, you know, it's like, even this, you know, it's jazzy, you know? Torch songs, that's what I was thinking of, like torch songs, that's what I was thinking of. It's like, what is that phrase I'm thinking of? Torch songs.
Drive over hills, forget your fear, getting it out of second gear. Well, 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 another day. Well,
you know, like this has a little bit of a swing to it, right? You know, like a little bit.
Well, 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 another day.
Cool. Wow, they just had to do that. They just had to do that at the end. They had to. Wow. Yeah, this is cool. I like it. Yeah, I like it. It's very cool. And yeah, this is like a way different yes already. It's way different. You see where they're going. Very clearly. Very clearly. Yeah. Dig it. The reason why I was harping on that jazz stuff is because I feel like because I want to let the people know that this is not jazz. It's not jazz. This is not the same as records that are on Blue Note. It's not. You know, from the 50s and the 60s that I consider jazz, this is not the same thing. This is rock jazz. Actually, let me see how they, just out of curiosity, how do they label us? They just label us prog rock. Okay. It's jazz influence, right? This is like not a jazz bass player. This is not a jazz bass player. They're not playing jazz. You're not hearing jazz bass players walk like that, right? That's like a rock walking bass line. It's not the same. It's totally not the same, right? It's just not. How is it not the same? It has to do with like, I want to say it has to do with vocabulary, but what does that also mean? It's like, I mean, it is. It's about language. It's about language. How people speak. You're gonna speak a different way if you're playing rock than if you're playing jazz. You're speaking different. It's also, you know, in a way different in terms of like, well, you know, people from the UK have an accent and people from New York have an accent. They're not the same. They're speaking the same words. They're using the same words, right? They can use literally the same words, right? In this case, notes, using literally the same notes, but they're using them and enunciating different and things like that. So in that way, you know, music is a language and all that kind of thing, right? Does this all make sense? This is why I'm like, they're not the same. Like, they're not the same. This is not jazz. This is jazzy. It is. It's jazzy. It alludes to jazz. It's not jazz, though. I just want to say that for people that would call this jazz. It's not, though. You know, like if somebody calls this jazz, you don't listen to jazz. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. So that's all. I don't mean to harp on it or be, you know, whatever. I just had to get my point across. And I would like to be heard. So that's all. This is not jazz. It is cool. I'm not trying to take away from it in that kind of way at all. Just want to make the distinction, right? This is still cool. I like it. I like it. I'm down with things being jazzy and not being jazz. That's fine with me, right? That whole mix, that blend, all of it. Cool. Great. Great. Yeah, I like it. Like it. So far, so good. Everything's cool so far. The only thing that I think could be better is just mix. It's just has to do with mix. I can hear already that, you know, Peter Banks saying that he's too low, and, you know, Colton, that's the guy's name, right? Colton, yeah. didn't like him or whatever. You know, Peter Banks argued the strings and the horns merely played parts originally written for the guitar or organ. There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. That's orchestration. That's arranging. There's nothing wrong with that. That's normal. That's normal. There's nothing wrong. It doesn't need to play a totally different part. You're already complex enough, right? There's already a lot of stuff that's happening. You want to have the strings have a completely different part than what is already going on. That's already a lot to hear, you know, to absorb, to listen to. So I don't have a problem with that. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, to me, that's like, so what? That's ridiculous. I mean, I'm not even sure what to say about that. I'm like, you ever hear like a bass player and a guitar player double, like play the same thing? It's like, you're basically saying, why are they doing that? All you're doing is doing that. It's like, yeah, because it creates an effect when you do that, like a musical effect, right? So there's times and places to do all that stuff. If you don't like that, if you think it should have some different thing, that's different. But the fact that you can do that or that they're doing that is not a problem or a big deal to me. Leaving his active participation to the album a minimum, or his guitar buried into the album's mix. That's the part, to me. That's the part. He can come up. There are parts where, because obviously he can come up, there are parts where the guitar was blaring, right? It's really loud. So that tells me it's just more of a mix thing. There are other points in the song where it was just a bit too low. Like, it didn't need to be that low. Like he's still playing, but it's harder to make out and kind of hear. Like, if you were going to transcribe it, it would be hard, it'd be difficult. You'd be rewinding it, and really trying to like pinpoint, like, okay, all right, you know, it would be more difficult, but not like necessary to the mix, you know, like there's no specific, like, why is it that low? Does it really need to be that low? I mean, even in the other song where there was that section where it dropped, the previous song where it got kind of like spacey for a bit, and there was Chris Squire, and then they brought Peter Banks all the way down in the mix, and there was a lot more reverb. He was really low in the mix. He didn't need to be that low. He could have come up a bit, still had more reverb, and it been better, in my opinion. But whatever, you know, to me, these are all mixed things. Okay, but again, overall, dig it, like it. All right, up next, closing out side one is Sweet Dreams. I'll catch you then. Later.